in this video, Jamie Cakes. Walk over back over towards me. So if I go down, we both go down.
Oh boy. He doesn't like it when I get close.
All right, Jamie. So let me just put my phone around you over here. And you go first. Where were you on the morning of September the 11th, 2001? Because anybody who's old enough to remember knows. You know, your parents always say they know where they were when JFK was shot.
And when Elvis died.
And when Elvis died.
Mm-hmm.
And so those were two, you can't even say they were, I mean, I guess they were close as far as the shock of the nation and shock of the world. But to have a president assassinated, I can't say I know where I was at when world leaders have been. I mean, I don't remember where I was at when they got Osama bin Laden.
No.
I remember they got him, but I don't remember where I was at.
I know where I was when we watched OJ in the white.
See, I
Bronco.
don't remember. I remember that, but I don't remember where I was at. And I was old enough to remember.
I was in like elementary school, and the teachers brought the TV in on the cart.
No, they did not. So y'all could
cafeteria.
watch them following OJ in his white
Yeah.
Bronco.
Yeah.
So Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, I remember they got on both, but I don't remember where I was at.
Me either.
I mean, Ronald Reagan was shot, not assassinated, but I don't remember where I was at. But I guess the only life event where I remember where I was at would be September the 11th, 2001. But let's hear yours first. Where were you?
I actually was sleeping. So I lived in an apartment with two other girls, and it was my first day off in 3 weeks. And the phone rang, like the house phone rang. And it rang like 3 or 4 times, like in a row. Someone was calling 3 or 4 times. And it was actually my work calling. And we had caller ID. We were big then. So I was like, I'm not answering that because I thought they were calling me back in. It was my first day off.
Oh, you wanted to have an off day.
Yeah. So I finally answered, and it was the girl at the front desk saying to turn on the TV. And here's the worst part. We didn't have cable. We had
antenna
we
ear,
had
rabbit ears.
Yeah, we were young and 3 girls living together. Like we watched movies if we watched anything at all. So I had to adjust my rabbit ears, and I missed most of the stuff on TV. And I was 19. I didn't understand really what that all meant at that time. Like there wasn't Google, there wasn't, things like that. It just, so I was very confused because I woke up and here I am just like, oh, turn on the news. Okay, great. I get it on. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean? I know what it was, what I saw, but I didn't know what it meant for the future or that type of thing at the time. So yeah, I was at home and I ended up driving into work to be able to have someone to answer my questions. And like, I worked with doctors then. So, they were the smartest people I knew at the time. So.
Well, I tell you what, my story is similar, but I kind of feel like what you just now said is going to lead into my story real well, because I was teaching school, and I had a group of 6th graders, and I remember that my phone rang, my cell phone. I had a cell phone then, and it was Mom, and she said, "Oh my God, did I hear what happened?" I'm like, "No, what?" And she said that a plane hit one of the World Trade Centers. And she said, "I can see it on the TV." Now, of course, as a teacher, you don't have a TV, but I did have, and that was 2001, so we did have internet, but it was nothing fancy. But I did go to the news on the internet, and I actually saw the first tower burning. And, of course, it was every internet news station had it playing. And it wasn't long before they had said that there was a second hit, and then that's when they said it's an act of terrorism, obviously. So that was enough to tell you that was terrorism. And so I remember our boss came on the intercom and said, "Everyone check your email. Teachers, check your email immediately." So I was like, oh, it was scary. It was a really scary moment. I'm trying to make the kids stay busy when I'm over there trying to do my own thing. And I went to my internet, to my email, and she said, kind of just what I just told you about, there's been a terrorist attack. She says, keep the kids off the internet. No one uses the computer. And she says, don't talk about anything. She goes, don't talk about anything with your kids, with your students. And so it was around that time that my kids, the bell rang, it was my conference hour. So I had an hour to just sit there and delve into watching. And the longer I sat there, and the more that I saw the plane in Pennsylvania, the Pentagon, the more I kept thinking, I can't not talk to my class about this.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't long before the school got packed with parents trying to grab their kids. They weren't even waiting for the office to dismiss them. They were just going and snatching them, and kids were leaving left and right. So when my next class came back in, I went against my principal's wishes and I talked to them. And I did it because there would have been a lot of kids like you who would have gone home and not had someone explain to them about. And I didn't want to have all those kids in fear and going home scared and not understanding what was going on. So I remember I just talked to them about the world has bad people. There'd already been terrorist attacks. We already had the 93 attack when they put a bomb in the basement of the World Trade Center. There already had been several other things. There had been things around the world that I was aware of. Now, I didn't know who was behind it all, so I didn't say any names.
Right.
But I just talked about there's bad people in the world, and they want to hurt people, and they do that by scaring us. And so that's the whole definition of terrorism. Terror, you want to strike terror in the hearts of your enemy. And I talked about how they do that. And then I talked about cowardice and how when you attack women and children and innocent people, old folks, how cowardice that is. I'm just keeping an eye on Carl as he walks around back behind us.
No, I think that's amazing because I really didn't have anyone. I didn't have anyone in my life that was political or that ever taught me any of those.
So this is our 9/11 tribute, sort of telling our own personal stories of 9/11. And you can keep talking, Jamie, just you won't be doing it in the video. I'm going to keep this video on Carl.
No, it made me, when I realized what was going on and understanding all of it, or trying to understand all of it, it of course terrified me, but also made me feel so disconnected and step outside of the tiny bubble that I was living in, because I was living in a bubble of just what was going on in my world. And we didn't have. I wasn't gonna try to add fear to what there was gonna already be a scary ended up being months and maybe the rest of their lives, heck. But yeah, and then I remember that L.E. was only a year old and he was in daycare. So I called his mom to see if she could go get him, because I don't know why, I just wanted him home. And then I remember that I couldn't wait to get home just to hang out, just to be around Ellie. You just want to be close to your kids and close to those that you care about. And so I did all of those things. Anyway, that was my 9/11 experience. That was, you heard a little bit of snippet of Jamie's 9/11 experience. And now we would love to hear yours. We're going to encourage you today in the comments to talk about your 9/11 experience. Where were you? Just let's hear your stories. Let's hear your stories. Let's not focus on the animals today. Let's hear your stories. In this video, Jamie Cakes, walk back over towards me. So if I go down, we both go down. Oh boy. He doesn't like it when I get close to you. Look. He's like, he's mine.
All right, go ahead and finish this up for us.
I think that it's hard to believe that 20 years has gone by since that event. And I know there's many other events in your world that probably you'll never forget about where you were and what you were doing.
And think about the people who follow the page from overseas who've experienced a whole lot more acts of terrorism than we have here in the States.
I think that there's one thing that comes out of it is that we really all are connected, and we're all people and humans, and outside of our beliefs or views or anything else, that I think days like today and events like that bring us all together in ways that are bigger than all of us. So we do want to hear your stories, and thanks for listening to ours.
And now we're going to try to get ourselves out of this pasture
that's where I was going
without aggravating Carl.